okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
You know what you are. You're right.
Come on.
Brothers of Discussion is a pro wrestling podcast.
Oh wow, this is very laggy.
Yeah, reminds me of 2010.
Get off the phone, we're on the internet.
Who's even here? Everybody's up in the living room. It's just us. It says we're live, but I can hear anything. Any
Brothers of
music.
Discussion is a pro wrestling podcast.
You are live.
All right.
Well, how dare
I guess we are live. There was just no countdown, no nothing, no nonsense.
Yeah, we just skipped
I hear
like
music now too.
we just skipped 25 seconds of our life.
now the music is playing. How dare this?
Oh, here we go.
Here's the thing. Wow.
Yeah, live.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties.
Go on and see it. You can see us.
Yeah, you're definitely live.
All right.
Not kidding.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
Yeah, run it down while I figure this all out, people, because
Aaron's
I can't
trying-
see anything.
well, Aaron's trying to figure it out. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest verbally. Now we don't even have any vision there. It's back. Now we can see. Today we have owner operator of Route 33 Wrestling in Spencer, West Virginia. We have Jess McCumbers today.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Brothers of Discussion is a pro wrestling podcast.
I love hearing the theme over and over on repeat. It's great. This is now a dance show.
We're on. We're on. It's okay. It's okay. You know what you are. You're right.
Brothers of Discussion is a pro wrestling podcast.
Oh boy, oh boy. So it seems we are having some technical difficulties. Because it's just me alone on the screen listening to the theme song on repeat. Not weird at all.
You know what you are. You're right.
It's all my fault. I cursed it.
Brothers of Discussion is a pro
They said this is the first time we're using this intro, and now here I am by myself. Oh no. Oh, are they back?
We're on. We're on. It's okay. It's okay. You know what you are. You're right.
Brothers of Discussion is a pro
Oh,
wrestling
no.
podcast.
Go on, that should have slow.
Oh, there you are. You're back.
Hey, we're back.
It's okay. You know what you are. You're right.
I was just sitting here jamming to the theme song on repeat. It's
Brothers
great.
of Discussion is a pro
Appreciate
wrestling
it. Yeah.
How many times?
Yeah, seriously.
It's still playing.
Is it still playing?
Yes.
It's still playing.
It
Well, I
has not
understand.
stopped.
Why?
I don't know if I'm the only one that can hear it or if anyone else can, but
Oh,
No.
I'm sure
Oh, there we go,
everybody
okay.
can probably hear it.
God, I hope they could hear it because otherwise I was just dancing.
The
by
undeniable
myself to
heel
no
Mike
music.
Payton.
Yo.
The
That is
undeniable
true.
heel Mike Payton just said, "Sorry, I hacked it."
Yeah, that might have been the best intro ever inadvertently. So we appreciate that so much.
And we apologize for the difficulty.
Yeah. Fucking StreamYard because
Oh my
internet's
gosh.
paid. It's all Gucci. But anyway, hit the intro one more time. Let these people know who she is.
Once again, owner operator of Route 33 Wrestling out of Spencer, West Virginia, Jess McCumbers. Thank you so much for being here
Hello.
with us.
Thank you for having me again.
Yes, and absolutely. Before we get started, before we hopefully don't lose a feed again, take a minute, go ahead and plug your stuff. Let everybody know where they can find you, your socials, where they can follow you. Let us have it.
Sure thing. So Route 33 Wrestling is on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and sort of on Patreon. I have a huge backlog of events that I need to get put up there, but we are on there and we are active. You can join us. You can follow us. I also run Promo Glow Studios, which is basically video editing, graphic design for wrestlers and other entertainers. So if you need those kind of services, whether you're a wrestler or promoter, please hit me up. Because gas prices are high, and I literally just finished a commission before I hopped on here. So if you need help with any of those things, hit me up.
Awesome. So I'm gonna get right into it. How the hell did you come into ownership of a pro wrestling company?
It is a very long story, and it's one of my favorite stories to tell. So
let's hear it.
My lead into the story is that it all started, dream sequence, when I was 9 years old and I took a ballet class. So I started taking ballet at this place called Heartwood in the Hills, which is about an hour away from where I live now. And that kind of sucked me into all things performance and entertainment. So from dance, I went to acting. When I got to high school, I said, that's what I want to do, much to my dad's disapproval. So I ended up going to the University of the Arts in Philadelphia to pursue acting. Got my degree there. And about a week before I graduated, my stage combat teacher said, hey, have you ever considered going into stunt work? And I was like, no, but that sounds awesome. So a year later, I flew out to Seattle and I went to the International Stunt School and I did all sorts of fun stuff for a month. Fist fighting, knife fighting, getting set on fire, drifting cars, all the cool stuff. And if I get a chance to go back, I'm going to.
Friday
night. So much fun. Yeah. And so I was literally on my way home and a friend texted me and said, hey, I know a guy who just bought a wrestling ring. He's going to be setting it up in Spencer, which at the time was about 45 minutes away from where I lived. With your background and your interests, this might be something that you want to try out. And so I said, sure. And I went down, checked it out, met some cool people, got bit by the bug, and I kind of got sucked into wrestling and unofficially trained on and off for several years. Started going to indie shows in the area. And I think it's important to know I did not get into wrestling in any way until my 20s. I was 23 when I came back from stunt school. So at that point, it had not been a part of my life at all. I didn't watch it growing up, or it wasn't something that we watched at home. I went to one show when I was 13 at my old elementary school that had been shut down. And I remember my younger brother, turned around and looked at my mom and said, Mom, is this real? And she goes, do you think it is? He goes, yeah, I think it's real. And it was a cool thing, and I didn't think anything of it. But so in 2017, I got injured and I had to kind of take some time away from actual training. And during that time, I was kind of thinking about what I had seen and experienced going with friends to indie shows in the area and, hearing the horror stories of not getting paid and just like seeing the really crappy flyers and marketing and things like that and hearing about the politics. And in that downtime, I was like, I have a college degree. I've been, involved in entertainment for so long. Like, I think I could try my hand at this. And so I took some business classes, kind of got the lay of the land, asked for a ton of advice from people that I knew that were involved. And in March of 2018, we held our first show, and it's kind of just been rolling ever since then.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that is an amazing story. Yeah, I mean, that's
mic drop. All right, well, everybody, thank you.
So I honestly, I feel like a lot of people who are in the wrestling business, stunt school would be a wonderful addition to any training. I feel like, cinematically, 100%. Even for television and visuals would be phenomenal.
Absolutely, yeah.
I wanted to say shout out to West Virginia. That's actually where my family starts from, West Virginia, Elkins, West Virginia, and then they moved up. So I wanted to give a little shout out there.
Awesome.
But
small world.
We're talking, So we talk about training and getting injured. What kind of injury was it that took you out of training as much as you would have liked to?
So this is another interesting story. Maybe I should write a book. My injury was not training related at all. I was actually walking to the store and I got hit by a car that was going like 35 miles an hour, broke my leg, had to be life flighted, emergency surgery, and I was down and out for about 8 months. And, I actually did kind of start getting back in the ring before it fully healed because I did have the internal fixation with the titanium rod and everything. And so it was fine. It just wasn't 100% healed. And I was also back doing stunt work with a good friend of mine, Six Carolino, who lives in Memphis. And every time I watch that film back, I'm like, I was doing that with a broken leg. So, I couldn't stay away from it very long. And it was a rough 6 months, though. I give it 0 stars, 2 thumbs down. Breaking your femur really, really sucks. I don't recommend it to anyone.
Damn.
So you said you didn't get into wrestling until you were in like your 20s. What got you into wrestling? What kind of got you hooked?
Well, it was my background in stage combat that kind of got me started. I went to school, like I said, for acting, and the first semester everyone was required to take stage combat, which I was already kind of interested in because I loved sword fighting, watching movies with pirates and things like that. And so I walked into class with 0 expectation or understanding of what we were going to be doing. And my professor, Charles Conwell, an amazing man, fantastic teacher. I just got hooked from the get-go. And I was the only acting student in my level that took it every single semester. I ended up doing some independent studies, studying all different sorts of forms of weapons that I wasn't able to actually physically study at UArts. And I ended up doing, for my senior project, I wrote, directed, and edited and choreographed a short film of sort of demonstrating the different areas of stage combat that I was familiar with. And so that just kind of sparked this love of theatrical violence. And I mean, when I came back and I, kind of saw how wrestling worked and was watching my friends do this on a regular basis and kind of rolling around in the ring and getting a feel for things, for the basics, I was like, man, this just combines like everything I love, like being able to beat people up and also do the character stuff and wear the costumes and have all that pomp and circumstance and theatricality. And I think one of the coolest things about wrestling, especially now that I'm noticing running shows, is how personal it is with the audience, especially if you're running in a small town. When you go to an arena show or something, it's, they're far away, they're down away from you. But at like the Armory down here in Spencer, we're all in proximity with each other. We can high five the fans, we can get pictures, we can talk. A lot of the fans and wrestlers know each other by name. And so it's kind of that whole big circus of like theater, violence, and those personal connections that just can't get enough of it.
Wow.
100% agree with it, because we have a local organization around here that we have a friendship with the owner and a lot of the talent. And I know, it's definitely interesting to go and like actually know the people that are in the ring wrestling. It's more intimate and you get to pop more than you would if you just go to a WWE or AEW show.
Absolutely. And we've had storylines and stuff happen where, someone is injured or takes time off or whatever. And I have people asking me, at the next event, hey, is so-and-so okay? Like, is he all right? Like, is he going to come back? Like, we miss him. And it's like, they actually miss that person. It's not like, oh, I really would like to see this person again. They want to be there with that person and connect. And I just think that's awesome.
So I know with professional wrestling, there is so many different personalities and so many stubborn people and so many people that are like, whatever. How difficult is it to actually book a show and get the people to show up and do what is asked of them?
Very hard sometimes. Luckily, most of the people that I work with and the group that I've kind of cultivated around me, they're pretty great, and they kind of respect the process and they listen to what I want them to do. I like to approach it as a collaboration as much as possible, because obviously these are the people that are getting in the ring, taking the bumps, putting their bodies on the line, and it's their image specifically. So, you know, we try to make it a creative process where everyone has their input. But yeah, at the end of the day, you know, not everybody's going to agree with the direction you want to go. Not everybody's going to like your ideas or the way you do things, and that's fine. You know, we usually work our way through all of that stuff. Getting people to show up, that's one of the challenges I think that probably stresses me out the most on show weeks is, you know, you get that dreaded message like, hey, I'm so sorry, but like I have a wedding to go to and I didn't know about it until yesterday. And I'm like, okay, let me just like contact a bunch of people and try to get the spot filled. But for the most part, we don't really have that issue as much anymore. We did early on. And I think a big part of that was just being new and being where we are. We are very much out of the way. You know, Ohio and I always talk about this, Ohio and Pennsylvania are the big like wrestling hubs closest to us. We are in the middle of nowhere. This is a small rural town in the middle of West Virginia. You kind of have to go out of your way to get here. And so, you know, it's understandable when people have to take a booking closer to home or whatever. But like I said, most of the people that we work with are really great, and they show up on time with a good attitude, thankfully.
That's
and yeah, it makes everything a lot easier.
Yep.
And you're 100% correct about Pennsylvania. That's where we're from. Huge wrestling as of late, a lot more shows have been popping up. So it's very nice to see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you being new into the wrestling world at 20, who is your first favorite women wrestler now that it's taking off?
Okay.
It is taking off. So
yeah,
I had to ask you.
Yeah. The first person that ever caught the first two people were AJ Lee and Paige. It was right around that time that I was kind of getting into it, that they were having their feud. And I just remember thinking, this AJ chick is crazy. And she was doing the type of stuff that I wanted to do, that I found most interesting, you know, the Black Widow and just being fast and crazy and wild. And her feud with Paige, I thought was a lot of fun. When I was injured, I was watching a ton of wrestling at the time because I didn't have anything else to do. And that was when Becky Lynch kind of started her climb to the top, and I became a huge Becky Lynch fan. To this day, I still really like her. And of course, nowadays, I got to show the shirt. Monday Night Mommy. Rhea Ripley's my girl. I think she is one of a kind. I don't think there will ever be another Rhea Ripley.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Awesome. Yep.
And I think the beautiful thing about women's wrestling now, over the last, I'd say maybe 4 years, I feel like there is several women that are one of a kind right now. There's none of that cookie cutter stuff like we had in past years, where they're getting their chance to actually shine and they're taking it and running with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love to see it. You know, I remember one of the first WrestleMania that I ever watched was WrestleMania 25. And they had the 25 women battle royal. And of course, Santina won it. And I remember watching it and like, you know, mind you, I'm coming out of college where I have been sword fighting with men and going to stunt school where I'm literally getting contact slapped every day by people, you know, and doing these like extremely difficult things. And, you know, then to see that, and I was like, I know that was kind of the tail end of that era. But it's like, okay, Santina won the all women's battle royal on WrestleMania 25. And I was like, this is kind of a joke. I would love to see something better. And thankfully it has gotten better. It has gotten a lot better.
I kind of think it was foreshadowing for the way the world is today. It's not too far fetched anymore.
True.
No comment. No comment.
So you mentioned early on that at 9 years old you were doing ballet, I believe it was. You are the second person we've interviewed that has like that dancing background.
background,
How
yes.
long did you dance for? How was that something that was childhood all the way through adulthood?
It was, yeah. And it was very much every single semester or year or program until I got hurt. And then I did end up obviously taking time off. And, I kind of got away from Heartwood in the Hills, which was the home studio for me. But a friend of mine, her name's Mercy Collins. She runs the Callan Cabaret here in West Virginia, which is like a community theater type thing. She started her business right before I started Route 33. She's actually kind of the inspiration that pushed me to actually like take the step to get it started. And she was having a Christmas event that December of the year that I got hurt. So I was just a couple months into recovery. I couldn't do anything, but she let me kind of stand in and do like some MC stuff. And a couple years went by, and I started dancing again with her. And so that's been a recurring thing. The last dance show I had was this past December. So it's kind of, once I got hurt, it slowed down a bit. But, when the opportunity presents itself, I love to do that. It's one of my favorite things to do. And it keeps me in shape. Good cardio. So I recommend dancing to wrestlers too, because it'll help your flexibility and balance and cardio.
Yeah, that's where I was going. I feel like that kind of helps you, because the other person we talked to was Red Velvet, active Ring of Honor champ. And and she said the same thing. I asked her that, and she's like, yeah, now that I think about it, that makes perfect sense why she feels like her footwork just seems to kind of, she has underneath her as opposed to other people might because of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, ballet, especially as a base, really helps with agility and flexibility, which in turn will help with like preventing injuries and extend your career a little bit. I don't know if they do it anymore, but I know they used to make pro football players take ballet classes for that reason, learning how to align your spine properly and stretch properly and all that stuff.
So I feel like the answer to this question might be pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Go for it.
What was the inspiration behind naming your organization Route 33 Wrestling?
Yeah, I was going to ask it a different way, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
thing.
it is. Yeah, it is kind of self-explanatory. We are on Route 33 in West Virginia. But there is a little bit of a backstory as well. And I'll try not to ramble too much like I did last night about this. But when I first got started, we had a very small kind of informal training group, and we would meet every week or every other week and just kind of roll around and do stuff. And at one point, as many independent wrestlers like to do, there was discussion of starting a company. And, at the time, I was not in a position where I felt like I could share a lot of my opinions. I was still very, very new. The people that I was training with had a lot more experience than me. So I kind of just like hung back. But it came time to name this hypothetical company that was not yet in existence. And so some people threw some names in the hat, and Route 33 was one of them. And it got shot down in favor of GCW. And I don't remember what words the acronym stood for, but I was like, guys, there's already a GCW. There's already like 5 GCWs. Like, why don't we do something different? Oh, no. This familiarity, brand familiarity. Okay. So very long story short, that group eventually went their separate ways. Thank goodness. And that was right around the time I got hurt. And with that downtime, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I think I am going to start this company. Now that I've taken my business classes and I've kind of learned how the process works. And you know what? I'm going to name it Route 33. And the choice was really a big part of it was it's different than everything else. It's not a 3-letter acronym. It's got numbers in it, and it literally puts you on the map of like, oh, Route 33. I kind of know where that is, kind of helps you find where you need to go. And so that's kind of how that was born.
So the same guy that said he hacked our feed, and that's why we had the difficulties earlier, he is a independent wrestler, and he just commented, I haven't been to West Virginia. This guy's constantly working. He's trying to get booked.
Hit up the Route 33 page. I'm just saying.
There you
I
go.
love it. That's funny.
So you started your business, you said, in 2018?
Yes.
Okay. So you started this business, and then this thing happened. COVID. What did you do through that? And what did you kind of learn or come out of that from? Like, how did you take that?
It sucked. And primarily, this is very selfish of me. We had only had, how many? I got to look at my posters and count. We had 5 shows at that point. The first year we did 2, the second year we did 3, sort of experimenting. And I plan to just like grow by a show every year. And so at the end of 2019, I somehow found myself in a feud with a gentleman named Gary Gandy. And if you remember, Gary Gandy wrestled Kevin Owens in a one-off match on SmackDown. I think it was in 2016, 2017. He was working at another promotion that my husband and I were also working at. And, we became good friends. And he was one of the ones that kind of, when we started rolling, we were drawing from that locker room quite a bit. And so anyway, I found myself in a feud with this guy. And I was like, yeah, March of 2020, you're going down. I'm going to beat you from pillar to post. And then, of course, in March of 2020, the beginning of March 2020, literally the day after my birthday, everything shut down. And the city told us, like, you can't hold this event. I'm like, oh, my God. Which, of course, I was super anxious. I hadn't had a match yet. So this was like a very big deal for me, not only as an owner, but as a performer. And so I was like, okay, so we shut down and that whole year just went by. We didn't do anything. We didn't host any shows. And then 2021 came around and I turned 30 that year. And that was it that? No, it wasn't. It was July of 2021. And the match finally happened and we got rolling again and it was nice. And it was the biggest crowd we had ever had. And then shortly thereafter, we had a spike in COVID cases, hopefully not from our show. But the event we were supposed to have 2 months later ended up getting canceled because of that. And then when 2022 came around and things kind of started settling down, I was like, we got to make up for lost time. And we went every single month from March until September, I believe. And I will never do that again because I was so stressed. I thought I was going to have an aneurysm back to back. I don't have a lot of resources to work with. It's me doing a lot of the legwork, the organization, obviously. And I was like, yeah, no, we got to take a breather. And so ever since then, since 23 on, it's been every other month from March until November. And then we do a Christmas show to wrap up the year. So, nice. But yeah, and with COVID, I mean, it really just kind of made me more aware of liability in general. And kind of being more responsible for the people in our community. I know a lot of people had mixed opinions on vaccines and wearing masks and things like that. And it kind of limited who we were going to book because I wanted to be very careful. I didn't want, a show that I wanted to do that I cared so much about to also cause health problems in the community because we've got people coming in from out of state and gathering and all this stuff. And so it was tough. I started cleaning our venue, deep cleaning it myself, just to make sure that everything was like as clean as it could be, that there was hand soap, sanitizer, everything around, tried to cover all the bases and make it as safe as we could. And, we told people, if you want to wear a mask, we encourage it. If not, that's your choice. And so it was an interesting time. I'm glad that time is behind us and knock on wood. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Because I really did not like being able to perform. It was garbage. I did not like it.
So just to recap, you said you were going to have your first match and COVID happened. And you had to wait all the way through it to have it.
Yeah, I had to wait over a year. And it was like the longest running feud ever, just for the simple fact that we couldn't get at each other. And it was also funny too at the time. I have to mention this. So at the time, Chris LaRusso was our champion and, COVID shut down everything. And then he didn't lose the title until that event in July of 2021. So his record on cage match is still I think it's 760 something days. No one has beaten that. I was like, he's going to be our top champion forever. Nobody's ever going to beat that.
See, the best heel move ever would have been blaming COVID on the guy that you were supposed to wrestle.
Yep.
Like you sent out this disease because
He
you were
was
afraid to
scared.
wrestle.
Yep.
He was scared.
How
yeah.
dare you?
That's crazy. Great story. Thank you.
So we also have a few questions that we like to ask that are just fun ones that we ask in almost every interview. I'm going to let Fran go ahead and ask one of them. The fantasy match. I know you like to ask this one.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I like to ask. But let's we always ask a fantasy booking of a deceased wrestler versus a current wrestler. That's like a dream match that yeah, we like to dig deep here, so I'll give you time to think. This one's
I mean, this is going to sound like a very obvious and impossibly cliche choice, but China and Rhea Ripley, I think, would be very interesting to see. They're so similar, but they're also very different. Yeah. I think that would be cool.
Wow.
I think that's back-to-back weeks.
Right.
Bad. Like,
your answer at our last interview's answer were probably the two best ones so far.
Really? Wow. Very nice.
What was the last one?
CM Punk versus Macho Man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And the reoccurring one that we've had a few times was Dominic versus Eddie Guerrero.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Heard
that one makes sense. The other ones are, I think, there's a little more thought.
Owen Hart's a lot.
We did have Owen Hart
a lot of Owen
Hart
Hart
as well.
Too, but yeah. So you got into wrestling a little bit later. What do you watch now, or like what are you kind of into now, or if you're kind of just chilling at home, what are you throwing on?
Oh gosh, I am embarrassingly out of the loop. I don't really usually turn it on unless it's pay-per-view. I do watch when there's indie live streams and I have friends that are working. I like to watch my friends work. Most notably Thursday Night Fights in Pittsburgh, 880 Wrestling. I got a lot of friends out there that do that. Yes. Unwilting Tatiana, love her.
Awesome.
So yeah, I mean, it's mostly that. Like I said, WWE, I don't watch much AEW. My husband will turn it on every once in a while. We did go and see AEW when it came to town, when it came to Charleston so many years ago now. I think, what was it, 2018 or 2019? That was a cool experience because I had never actually been to a big arena show, a wrestling show.
Yeah.
And that was the event that Kenny Omega came out and did the video game entrance. I can't think of it. I think my husband's watching this live stream. Josh, if you're watching this. No, it wasn't Street Fighter. I don't remember what it was. But anyway.
Mega Man one time, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
I think he did Mega Man one time.
Awesome.
I forget what it was. It was really cool. It was our ringtone for a really long time, that entrance. So he said Megalomania. That's what it was.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah. So we got to see that live. That was really cool.
Cool.
And Chris Jericho was there and everything. So, but yeah, I am sitting here in front of my computer, watching my own footage, editing the video, putting together highlight reels and things like that. I do, like I said, I do watch the pay-per-views when they come on, but I don't watch much of it. I think now that I work in it so much, it's like, okay, like that's how it was with stunt school too. Like once I learned how a lot of the stuff was done, you put on an action movie and I'm like, okay, I can see, whatever. It doesn't make it any less interesting, but I do get a little tired sometimes,
So with your background in stunt work, is there a role in a movie that you would have been head over heels to actually have to be the stunt worker?
Mrs. Smith and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is my favorite action movie of all time. I love that movie so much. It's so funny. Angelina Jolie is amazing in it. It's one of my comfort films, and the house fight scene is my favorite scene. Before they kiss and make up. I have watched that scene so many times I could probably recreate it step by step and frame by frame if I wanted to. So.
It's because they were married during the filming. I said that when I watched it, and I still to this day you can feel the chemistry come through the camera.
Yeah.
Oh yes, very much.
Great answer too.
So there's another fun thing that we do is every time we have somebody on the show, we ask them to ask a question for the next person we have on the show.
Ooh.
We don't tell them who our next person is going to be, and it's a random question. We'll give you time to think of a question, but we're going to ask you the question that our last guest asked.
Okay.
Our last guest was AJ Smith, who
All right.
is the current North American champion at Battlefield Pro Wrestling here and out of Allentown, Pennsylvania.
All right.
And his question for you is, if you could be one person in the history of the world for one day, who would that person be?
Oh my God.
Yeah, right. That
What-
was a great
in
question.
the
You blew our mind
history.
with that one.
Oh
Yeah,
my
anybody.
God.
I know. That was such a good question.
Lord, that is tough.
Mhm.
Anybody. Oh,
It's crazy.
Yeah, that is fucking wild.
I'm gonna have to come up with a really crazy answer. Honestly, this is gonna sound wild. I think I would be Sporty Spice of the Spice Girls at the height of their fame when they were touring and like making the movies. I'm a 90s girl through and through, and I love me some Spice
fantastic.
Girls. I think Sporty Spice was the coolest of all of them. And to be around in that time when my favorite musical group, NSYNC, was touring. Making cool, famous friends in the 90s, musical friends, chilling with Britney Spears when she was at her most popular, all that stuff. Yeah, I would be Sporty Spice. I would be Sporty Spice.
Listen, we're all 40-something white males,
No, it's fine.
and I'm going to tell you right now,
I ain't
I
ain't white.
He is.
I ain't
He
white.
is.
No, you're not.
Okay.
He
doesn't matter.
They think I'm white, but I'm
he's
really not.
He's what I
Like,
call a ding dong. He's brown on the outside, but white on the inside.
He's our boy. We
the
love him.
fuck out of
Here's
here.
what
I love
wanted to
that.
Listen.
When
I
I
love
Alright,
that.
anyway.
I was going to say I still listen to NSYNC. I do.
I love it.
and I want to point out that karaoke, if you want to be my lover, is my go-to, and always will be, always has been since the time I did
Yes.
karaoke. So
Yes.
just throwing it out
Listen,
there.
they were big.
Wonderful
They were
answer.
fucking
Fantastic
huge.
answer. Do you have a
if I
question
ever
in
come
mind?
to if I ever come to Allentown, we'll go and do karaoke.
I'll slay with you. We're gonna slay. Oh my God. I'm in. I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you have a question for our next guest, which we're not going to tell you who, and it can be any question. It can be, they used to be wrestling related, but we've gotten away from that. It can
We've
be any
drifted.
question. Dealer's choice. What do you got?
Okay. I would say, man, that's what. See, I feel like I gotta compete with the last question. That one's.
I
that was
know.
good.
It's getting better. It's getting better
It
and
was
better
such
every
a good
interview.
Yes,
question.
they have gotten the one.
No pressure.
The
No
one
pressure.
prior to this was comical. This one was more. It's
It just blew my mind.
Okay, I would say if given the choice, would you fight one horse-sized duck by yourself or 20 duck-sized horses?
Tongue twister.
This is gonna be funny.
Yeah.
There you go. Had to go with bizarre.
Yes.
Personally, bring on the 20 horse size or duck size horses.
Yeah, I think I would
Duck-sized
just boot those bad boys.
Yeah. I played football, soccer. They're getting just boot after boot after boot after boot.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're from Pennsylvania. We've
It's,
seen Gene Snitsky punch some little things. So
Yeah,
Give assholes
that's true.
too.
yeah, you're stuck.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
So I want to talk a little bit about the future. What kind of plans or things do you have in your mind that you want to do with your company, or what vision do you have kind of going forward?
We talked about this a little bit last night. My main goal, just numbers wise, I would like to triple our audience in like the next couple years, both in person and online. Like I said, we have a Patreon that we've kind of been putting together little by little. I have a backlog of events, probably 3 years long at this point, that I need to like get on to put up there. But I think that would really give us some momentum forward to improve the product as a whole, bring in more interesting people, and just, I think, help us carry on forward. That would be the big one. One of the things I would like to do is have an all women's event where every single person that is working the event is a woman, referees, ring announcers, managers, wrestlers, everybody. I think women's wrestling, with it growing so much in the last few years, I think it would be really good to kind of bring that more into my area. That's kind of been one of our challenges, is booking women's matches. And it's not because we can't or we don't want to, but they are so in demand. And it can be very hard, you know, for them to give up a booking to travel to tiny little Spencer, West Virginia. And so that's something that I want to work on. So women wrestlers, if you're out there, please hit me up. We would like to book you.
Wait.
I was just going to say that.
Santina's available. You know that.
Oh, not Santina.
Yeah, he'll be there. I mean, I'm sorry, she'll be there.
I have forgiven Santina for her involvement in WrestleMania 25. That would be crazy, though, honestly. Just like, oh, and our newest women's wrestler, Santina. Yay.
I had to throw that one out there. I just had to.
So I want to ask you a question about your training. You've done the stunt training, and then you did professional wrestling training separately.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was more difficult and why?
I think the wrestling training, and for a number of reasons. One being that, again, when I say training, we're talking in the loosest sense. I didn't know that schools were a thing. Like, I was completely flying blind. So this was a very casual training thing where we had a couple people who had been trained that were kind of passing on their knowledge, but they weren't really teachers. And it was not a very structured situation. It was kind of like, I'm going to dip my toes in this. I'm going to learn how to bump and like do a body slam and whatever. And so that in and of itself was really difficult because I am more used to a structured instruction type of thing. And at the time I was dealing really a lot with like social anxiety as well. So it was kind of like, okay, I'm going to get in the ring with these people that I don't know and learn how to fall down and do all of these things that is completely opposite to human nature, you know, try to turn off your survival instinct to be able to do this. And so it was something I really struggled with. I was also, believe it or not, a lot skinnier than I am now. And so if you've ever taken a bump in a wrestling ring, you know that if you're all bones, it really, really sucks. And so that was something that I struggled with quite a bit. You know, with stunt training, everything was very, very specific. You know, this is the one way that you have to do things. And there is a camera here, so you have to angle this way. And this is how we make sure we don't get injured. And with certain things like the fire stunts, it was all very, very specific because of the safety. Like, you know, you have to follow these steps. It was a formula, a foolproof or almost foolproof formula of fire stunts. Yeah, fire stunts.
Fire stunts.
Yeah, she definitely said
FIRE. Fire.
Yeah, she definitely said that she was lit on fire.
Okay.
Earlier.
Yeah, I thought she said it, and then I don't know if it just hit me now, you know, into this, but yeah, I heard fire stunts, and I just okay. All right,
snapped you back into it.
Yeah.
I tell you, with that training too, there's probably some experiences that you can put into your business. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you can get people that are, you know, safe about it, but you could definitely use a lot of that stunt training in a good story.
Sure.
Oh yeah. And I will say this though, wrestlers are going to wrestle. There have been a number of times where I've said, hey, we have this great idea, this great spot, and here's how you can do it without actually killing each other. Specifically, the one that comes to mind, we had Falls Count or a last man standing match. And it was the end of this big feud. And, you know, it was going to be found weapons and random stuff. And so, oh, well, you know, what if I hit him in the face with a brick? Now, this was told to me like 2 weeks prior. So I was like, okay, like, so I had a piece of styrofoam that was the size of a brick. I hope I'm not pulling the curtain back too much here. And I was like, we could paint it and like, it'll be safe. And you could like straight up hit him in the face with this and it won't, you know, sell it. And so I tell them that when they get there, and they looked at me like I had 3 heads, and they're like, or I can just use this brick that I took out of the parking lot 5 minutes ago. It's an actual dirty brick that they dug up out of the ground. I'm like, y'all. And so, yes, I would love to see wrestlers kind of learn some techniques and stuff instead of just saying, let's send it and hope nobody dies. It's so dangerous. And anybody who's worked for me knows that, like, if you see me, I'm usually standing behind the hard cam while they're wrestling. I will be like this the entire time, like, please don't die, please don't die, please don't die. They'd be climbing the ropes and stuff. I'm like, okay, be careful. So yeah, but I will say, going back to fire stunts, this is my hot take. I do not think fire belongs in pro wrestling at all, ever. With the exception of maybe deathmatch. You know, I know they get pretty wild, but I have seen so many YouTube videos of people getting their crotch set on fire and nobody having a fire extinguisher. And, you know, the guy ends up stomping on the guy to put the flame out. And it's like, I had a friend who was on a show. I don't even remember what the spot was, but somebody got set on fire and they couldn't put it out. And it ended up catching the sprinkler, setting the sprinklers off. And I guess the venue that they were in was a shared space with like some kind of shop next door. And the sprinklers came on over there as well. And they got in so much trouble. They lost the venue. They had to pay a bunch of money. And I'm like, just don't do that. Just don't do it. It's you can get heat, literal heat, in better ways than actually setting somebody on fire. So
yeah. You know, he owns a business. I run a business. So
yeah. By the way, hold on. Let me step in there while you say that.
Yeah.
I commend you for owning the business and putting the work in.
Yeah.
Like at the same time, like your passion. You know, I did want to say that as a business owner, you know, good shit.
Yeah.
Good shit. Because that's how I live every day. Like I can't sit back and let my business run itself.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I want to bring it back to the brick story you kind of told. How, one, thank you for that insight, but also that is one of the examples of why we love this business. Because here you are, a business owner saying, hey, we can just do a fake brick and like make it look like it's a brick. And they're like, nah, fuck that. Let's just use a real brick instead. And like, these are the women, not even the dudes. Like the women are like, we'll just use this brick. Like, fuck it. Why wouldn't you use styrofoam when I have a real one here? It's crazy. It's one of the things we love about the business, that the people in it are just so like, no, let me use a real brick.
Yeah.
Like, crazy nonsense.
Wrestlers are insane, and not just for the actual bricks and stuff, but just any risk. The love of it and the risk that they're willing to take and the drives that they're willing to make and just all of that. And, I would say I'm very happy that, from what I can tell, the business is kind of shifting away from sort of like all the old school, like hazing and stuff of new trainees and like how crazy some stuff used to be. I know somebody who had
bullshit. Because it was a corny business and it just carried on for too long because that's what you did. And eventually someone was like, no, it's not. And
we don't have to do this.
Away from that.
Yeah. I had a friend who had a dead animal, like roadkill, put in his car while he was in training one time. And it's like, if anybody did that now, I would kick their ass to the curb. That's horrible.
Yeah.
So, but that passion though, that hard work and the dedication and sacrifice still remains. And I think that's great. Funny thing about the brick too is that it wasn't even like a worked move. Like he's like, no, I have a deviated septum, and if he hits me in the face with his brick, my nose will just bleed, and that'll be perfect. And I'm like, you know what? It's your guys' body. You signed a waiver. And the funny thing is, he swung the first time, missed his nose, loosened his teeth. He swung a second time, hit his nose, nothing happened. And then the other dude got hit in the head with like a trash can lid and got busted open. And then he was the one that was bleeding everywhere. I'm like, good God, this is like so out of control. But everybody went home happy, audience included. So I guess it was okay at the end. But I was
Yeah.
stressed.
Crazy
So
business.
for booking, is there something that you in your head while booking it was like, oh, this is great, and it turned out to be not great?
I mean, that's happened quite a few times where like the vision just doesn't come through for whatever reason. And I think a big part of it too is like I'm coming from a theatrical background and a stunt background and a film background. And so the way that I'm thinking about things is going to be different than a wrestler is going to be thinking about things. And I can't think of anything specifically that has happened, but once every couple of shows, I'm like, man, this match is going to be fire. I'm so excited. And then I watch it and I'm like, all right, well, the thing didn't happen that I really wanted to happen, but whatever, you know, just gotta kind of roll with it. And then things change all the time too. That's the other like big challenge for me for wrestling is like, I can write out the most detailed plan, and I do. I'm very detail oriented. And then when push comes to shove and people show up and we start working together, it's like, okay, that's going to go out the window and we're going to do something else. But it's all good. Like it tends to work out more often than not. And, you know, as long as everybody goes home safe and in one piece, or at least mostly in one piece, I'm happy with it.
So are you still getting in the ring and working, or are you just doing the behind the scenes stuff?
A little bit of both, kind of. I did have a match in December. And I will say what I always say when people ask that is that it is a lot easier to focus on just running the business than running the business and also fighting for my life. It's, you know, wrangling wrestlers is like herding cats, and there's so many moving pieces that, you know, it can be hard to also like do the stuff, like be in the ring. You know, every show I'm standing behind the hard cam and I am cueing sound and cueing lights and, you know, running back and forth, making sure everybody's fine. And so the two matches that I have had, being in the back and having to kind of let go of the production aspect of it, and just trust that things are going to go well, it's really hard. And then on top of that, having the anxiety of like, oh crap, I have to go in there and like get smacked around a little bit and hopefully not break my neck. You know, it's a little overwhelming, but I do try to get in there when it makes sense to, when I am prepared for it as well. I am both rusty and still very, very green. So, you know, there's still some training to be had there, but you know, if it makes sense and I'm up for it, sure.
Well, all that being said, who would be your dream opponent that you would love to get in the ring with?
Have I said mommy too much tonight?
No, you didn't say it at all. That's no.
You brought her up one time.
I did. That's true. Two times.
One shirt. Like, anyway.
Anyway. Yeah. Okay. So selfishly,
Right.
I would, as many other women would, I would let mommy pin me. It wouldn't be a fight. She would win. I am so okay with that. But other than Rhea Ripley, assuming that, like, let's just say in some parallel universe that I am like a top-notch wrestler and I could do everything safely and beautifully, I think I would love to wrestle Ultimo Dragon. He is one of my absolute favorites, and he and Tajiri are like my top two. So either of them, I think Ultimo Dragon is one of the most well-rounded wrestlers in existence. So.
That is pretty sick.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If it's an applause for
Yes. I guess we should
for somebody who got into wrestling late, two very, very good, educated answers. Like
Tajiri has come up, and Ultimo Dragon have come up many times on our show. We actually were on someone else's show, defending the cruiserweight division, and Ultimo Dragon was a key point.
Thank you.
Of us saying that division was better than the X division in TNA.
I said it was the most influential division era in wrestling because that's what everybody wrestles today.
Right.
You're just mimicking that shit now.
Yeah.
You know, that's my argument now, and I'll die on that hill. That's wrestling today is what Ultimo Dragon Tajiri was doing back then.
And
Well,
that
now
was
that you brought
the style of wrestling that was initially introduced, or I was introduced to when I first got started, because I'm a small person, and obviously coming from a theatrical background, I am all about the spectacle too. And so, yeah, sure, I watched some of the older stuff where it's just like purely technical, and people like Dean Malenko especially. But yeah, you start seeing like,
That's what I'm talking about.
They said you need to watch the cruiserweights, and that's what kind of got me sucked in. People like Billy Kidman, yeah, all those guys.
He's from Allentown, just like us, by the way. Billy Kidman.
Is he really?
Yes. Yep. So now that you brought up Tajiri, we actually recorded something that we haven't posted yet. We call it Lit Match, where we do a little watch along. We get lit and we do a watch along.
Yeah.
We just did Tajiri and Super Crazy. That has to be the next one that we post.
Yeah, we'll post it.
Just because of that.
Yeah.
I love that. I will say too, my favorite match of all time, and it's totally obscure. I think it was 2004 SmackDown, Tajiri and Ultimo Dragon, and it was the story. Rey Mysterio was on the outside doing commentary and jumped in, and at the end, and it's such a short match, but it is literally so flawless.
Right. We're gonna. Oh, what's the name of it? One more time. We're gonna write it down. That's gonna be our next lit match that we do.
It was either 2003 or 2004 SmackDown, Tajiri versus Ultimo Dragon.
We're gonna find it.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio on commentary. It's brilliant. It's really good.
Right.
And like I said, it's super short. It's like 5 to 8 minutes maybe, but it's
even better.
Look at you. Lesson us. That's a great match for us to watch.
So we have a comment that I can only assume is your husband. Every time she books John D, Crazy Hillbilly, it goes off the rails.
John D, Crazy Hillbilly. Yeah, okay. So we haven't talked about him for a little bit. John D is our resident hillbilly, obviously. And
he's probably crazy.
And he is crazy. He's a little the last time I talked to him, he said the crazy is in quotations. I have never seen it in quotations, so I'm just assuming that is who he is. But he lives way up in the mountains here in West Virginia somewhere. He has a skunk named Sweet Pea. He has a possum named Leroy. Both of them tend to accompany him to the ring on a regular basis and are subsequently found by whoever is reffing his match and confiscate. Usually I'm the one that has to end up babysitting the critters because, you can't have them in the ring. But, he actually made an appearance on a podcast not too long ago. I believe it was the Indie Wrestling Experience. And he had the gall to tell them that I pay him in pizza and I make him walk home after the show.
Damn.
That's not true.
I don't see that.
Sounds like
I don't know.
I mean, for somebody who's a hillbilly that lives in the mountains, that sounds like a great deal to me.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean,
it's not what he was paid, but we are saying like
you get to wrestle, you can bring your skunk and possum, and you get pizza. Like,
yeah.
I think that's
what more does the wrestler need other than a handshake, right? Yeah.
Handshake and a slice.
A handshake and a slice of pizza. Yeah. But John D is a favorite, a crowd favorite down here. We love having him on when he can make it down the mountain. He does bend the rules a little bit. He likes to bite. He likes to dance. He likes to do a little eye poke every now and then. But the fans love him, and we love him too. He's awesome. So,
well, if you're watching John D, stuffed Leroy's is the merch you need to put out there for yourself.
Yeah. Maybe not the skunk so much.
Yeah.
and the skunk perfume.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Self-defense spray.
So we kind of touched on the name, Route 33. Is that where your shows always are, or do you kind of have different venues that you've gone to? And if so, do you have a favorite?
So right now we are only at the Armory here in Spencer, which is right on Main Street, right on Route 33. We have been kind of exploring the idea of going other places. We looked into just going a little ways up the road to Arnoldsburg, which again is a very small town, and it's actually the home of Calhoun Cabaret. So that's kind of cool. And, we looked at going towards Ripley, West Virginia, which is in the opposite direction. They are right off the interstate, and that's where a lot of wrestlers actually stay when they come to our shows. But I also have some friends out there that are running shows, so I don't want to like step on their territory too much. Maybe we'll do a collab one of these days. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I've had a couple people reach out to see if we could, sell a show, do a fundraiser, other places. We've been looking into, helping out school systems and stuff like that, maybe doing fundraisers for sports or band or whatever. Hasn't quite materialized yet, but it's something that we're kind of working on.
Cool.
That's great.
You seem like you're a good person on top of being cool. And I appreciate that, because you're talking about doing fundraisers and doing the right things to keep people safe. Not only the wrestlers, but the fans during COVID.
Sure.
That makes me happy to hear that, because a lot of times you run into people who are just pieces of shit, and you don't seem like you are that. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I try not to be.
Yeah.
No, I heard
so
many. Yeah. No, I heard so many horror stories about people, the people who were still running shows during when COVID was really happening. Wrestlers who would like test positive and not tell anybody, and they would go wrestle in like these tiny little dingy venues where they're in contact with the fans and of course their opponent, and finding out that people are going home and getting sick. And it's like, first of all, I've had COVID a couple times and it sucks, and you could not get me out of bed, never mind wrestle. So just
that shit almost killed me. I'm with you, girl. That shit sucked.
I'm sure it almost killed me too. But I don't remember.
Good.
It was rough.
Good.
So.
Yeah, for real.
So as a wrestler, I guess my question, right, guys, is do you prefer to be a heel or a baby face?
Oh, that's
in the industry. Now, with your personality, this is great. Like, this is a good question.
Yeah, you come off very babyface, but
Very babyface.
Could be fun being.
Let's see.
I've done a bit of both. So obviously here at Route 33, which is 2 minutes away from my house, it's my baby. It's, I know people around here, very much babyface. People are very much on my side, which in a lot of ways makes things a lot easier for me, because my opponents have to be mega heel, and it always comes out, very, very compelling, good storytelling. However, before Route 33 was a thing, I was dipping my toes in managing, and I was managing my husband at the time. And there was a heel turn and a betrayal there. And I don't think I've ever talked about this on a podcast. I became a character named Miss Scarlet, and she was the complete opposite of who I was before. Sparkly red dress, carried a riding crop, big long ponytail, like just Scarlet the Harlot, right? And so I was very lucky to get placed with a heel tag team. Gorgeous Morgan Taylor and LA Cordova. I almost forgot his name because he hasn't been wrestling for a while. And they were just like shithead heels. Like, everybody hated them. Like, they could scarcely get a word in without getting booed out of the arena. And so I got to work with them for about a year, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And I've had the conversation semi-recently with a friend talking about how that person is not me in real. Like, I try to be a nice person, and I am not that cocky sort of like everybody bow down and worship me kind of thing. But boy, was it fun and very satisfying to like explore that.
Right. And, the greatest heels are like great people.
Yeah.
Like Undertaker, like let's just say Undertaker, hypothetically,
I'm off the side over here because I read the comments as we're doing the interview, and I was gonna say it, but he beat me to it. Josh says she's only a heel at home.
Oh.
And I was really gonna say, hey, is she a face or heel at home?
Walk off and go to bed.
He beat me to it. I love it.
So,
yeah.
You've been a manager, all right? You've been a wrestler, owner.
Mm-hmm.
You're booking your shows, right?
Yes. Well,
okay.
Actually, not now. Josh is actually booking the shows now, mostly, but that doesn't mean I am very verbal. I'm not very verbal about my opinions on said booking. So it's sort of a collaboration. But yeah, up until this year, yeah.
So you've done all of that in the business. What's your favorite thing to do? What do you like to do the most?
Oh my gosh. I think I like the combination of, being the actual real life owner, but also being like the on-screen authority. There's a realism there. It's real. Like I don't have to perform, but it's also an exaggeration of the truth. And
Nice.
I guess the biggest part of it is that I get to work with people that I care about, awesome friends that I've made. And when the curtain rises, so to speak, certain people I get to yell at and punish them and whatever, and other people I get to shake their hand and congratulate them. And the biggest thing as an owner for me is just seeing the emotional payoff from the crowd, seeing something that we built from the ground up, and seeing how happy it makes them, or how sad or how angry it makes them, and hearing those cheers and boos, it's the best thing in the world.
It's awesome. It's all about the reaction.
I'll tell you right now, I want to be a manager.
Yeah.
I think that anybody who's watching up here in this local Pennsylvania area that needs a heel manager, hit me up. I'll be fantastic.
It's great too that you have that kind of built in, because as the owner and having that authority, flipping that switch to being a heel you could use that to your advantage pretty quickly. Quickly. So that's really nice to have, especially because it comes so natural, because there's the real life aspect of you owning it. Like you said, you can just turn the volume up to 12 and really kind of take ownership of it, and then turn it back down when you want. It's a good spot for you to be in. Very nice.
Exactly. And it actually, it's a good tool for me personally as well, when I do have to deal with business stuff, dealing with people. It's like, okay, I can kind of flip that switch and be Miss Scarlet a little bit with this person if they need to be taken down a peg, and I have toyed with the idea of potentially bringing that character back in some way. I would love to, just personally, because it was so much fun, but who knows, she may turn up again.
Hey, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So any of this stuff that you have that you're promoting, or some of your backlog that you want people to see, please send it to us or tag us. I'll spread it around. I'll share it. We'll try to get some more eyes on your product.
Awesome.
That's something that we love to do. I feel like there's enough room for everybody to eat.
Yes.
So I have no problem sharing content for people who are actually good people. So
Sure.
Awesome.
Before we get on our way here, please, once again, plug all of your stuff so that people know where to find you and know how to see your product.
Awesome. I can do that. So again, Route 33 Wrestling, we are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and kind of sort of on Patreon in progress. It's free to join. I think it's $5 a show right now on there. Promo Glow Studios, also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Again, if you need a highlight reel, if you need graphics edited, resumes, hit me up. Happy to help. I think that's the main stuff for me. And also, while you're at it, our photographer, Mercy Collins, who runs the Count Cabaret, her account is also on Instagram. If you see any of our pictures on Facebook or Instagram, 90% of the time, she is the one taking them. She works very, very hard. And we would love to get more eyes on her show as well. It is the Count Cabaret on Instagram. So, and you'll see pictures of me there too.
All right.
Awesome. Brothers in the discussion.
Also, everybody tuning in. It was a great interview.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Also, like, subscribe, Brothers of Discussion, Facebook, TikTok. We're on TikTok now. Everybody, we appreciate your support, and continued growing and success.
Yeah.
Also, we got to shout out Airway Kingdom Network. We just joined the Airway Kingdom Network. Going to do some great things with these guys and hopefully grow from there. But right now it's about Jess and Route 33 Wrestling in Spencer, West Virginia.
Yes, Route 33, Main Street,
Spencer, West Virginia, at the Armory.
Easy to find.
Come on.
Easy to find.
How can you
Can't miss
forget
it.
that?
Look at that
So
shit.
and just to add, she says she wants to do a women's show. So any of the female wrestlers that follow us, which is a very, very large amount of our followers, reach out to Jess McCumbers on Facebook, anywhere that you can find her. She would love to talk with you about getting this female show going.
Yeah, let's get it
That'd be
cracking.
awesome.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, I can do this now. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers in discussion.
Let me
Jess,
clear my throat.
thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Guys, we'll see y'all next time.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. We appreciate you. And
Thanks for
Josh, she's
having me.
not a deal. You're a liar.
Total baby face.